Good win, boys. Good win. Way to start off the season. So the Dallas Cowboys faced off against the Cleveland Browns this past Sunday, and they beat the Cleveland Browns 33-17. Now, to start off, I am a Cowboys fan. I can harp on the Cowboys for an hour and how they played. But the biggest takeaway from this game has got to be Deshaun Watson. Guys, we have got to talk about Deshaun Watson. I mean, my Jesus. This guy, I know they use this meme all the time, but seriously, the fall off of Deshaun Watson needs to be studied. He looks awful. Awful. As much as I knew, like, all these idiots in the media thinking that the Cleveland Browns were going to come out and just smoke the Cowboys, like Dan Orlovsky as always. Look, I don't have a personal vendetta against Dan Orlovsky, but he hates my team. Other than that, I understand that the Cleveland Browns had the greatest record of all time at playing at home defensively, and give the Browns some credit. They played great on defense yesterday. But the biggest takeaway of this game was Deshaun Watson. Because, bro, you look like a bottom-tier quarterback. Let's just be honest. Deshaun Watson looked bad. Granted, we got to give him just a tad bit of grace. Both his tackles was out, and oh my gosh, that right tackle was getting eaten alive. Deshaun Watson was running for his life yesterday. I'm going to just keep it a buck. Deshaun Watson looked like he was seeing deer in headlights. He got hit. I promise you, Deshaun Watson probably got hit on 70% of the times he dropped back to throw the football. It was just a rough day for him back there. I want to give him some grace. Both his tackles were out. Let's just see him when he's got that line and able to sit back and dissect the pocket. But even with that, he still does not look good. There were throws, especially go routes, where it's like he's airmailing it 10 yards above him. His decision-making was terrible. He was missing wide open players in the middle of the field, not seeing the field well. Deshaun Watson looked like he's never played a down in football before. Literally. You can see his stats here. Deshaun Watson, 24 for 45, 169 yards, average 7 yards a pass, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. It's not good enough. And Amari Cooper, you got to even boost his confidence. Amari's got to catch that ball late in the end of the game. I know you weren't going to win the ball game, but Amari, you got to catch the football for your quarterback. They didn't get to run the ball well. Jerome Ford was 12 rushes, 44 yards, only averaged 3.5 yards a run. They really weren't even able to run the ball that well to even put Deshaun in the position to be more comfortable. Njoku had 4 catches for 44 yards. He was the leading receiver with 44 yards. There was even a stat near the end of the game that the Browns offense, 50% of their plays were for 0 or negative yards. It was just a bad day offensively for Deshaun Watson and the Browns. I mean, Deshaun Watson is playing for his career this year. He's getting paid $230 million guaranteed. Before yesterday, until Dak signed his deal, he had the most guaranteed money in the NFL history of the NFL. Is the Deshaun Watson of old going to just... If Deshaun Watson even gets a little teeny sprinkle of what he was playing like in Houston, the Browns have the ability to make the playoffs and win a playoff game. Are we not going to forget that Deshaun Watson in 2019 took Pat Mahomes and was beating Pat Mahomes till halftime in a divisional round of the playoffs until inevitably that's that year when Pat Mahomes was super saiyan that year and started coming back in the second half against every team in his playoff run. But Deshaun Watson was beating Mahomes in the divisional round of the playoffs. Deshaun Watson's played like 12 games in 4 years. He's not played a lot of football. But the thing is, the game hasn't changed much since he's not played. I don't know what's wrong with Deshaun Watson. I don't understand how a QB like Joe Flacco last year comes in and produces as much as he produces, and you can't produce like that with Deshaun. I don't understand how Deshaun's looked this bad. I can't tell you. I honestly, he's been very inaccurate. He was very inaccurate yesterday. I don't know what has happened to this guy, but it's very mental. It's got to be mental. He's not in the right mental capacity to be able to produce at a high level right now. He's just not producing at a high level like he needs to right now. Something's got to be Kevin Stefanski needs to get in the lab with Deshaun, sit down with him. He should have been sitting down with Deshaun today. Deshaun, what do you think we need to do to get you to play better? Go watch his tape in Houston or something, Stefanski. Look at that playbook. Take away some things that Deshaun was good at. Do something, because you got to save this man's career. Because right now, the way Deshaun Watson looks, and if Deshaun Watson continues to play, even if he plays just a teeny bit better like this for the rest of the season, Deshaun Watson is not a starting quarterback in the NFL no more. He's not. After today's performance, you can argue Deshaun Watson is probably one of the top 10 worst quarterbacks in the NFL right now. He's down there with all the rookies, the Caleb Williams and the Will Levises and everybody else. The Mac Jones. Yes. There was a day when we were saying Deshaun Watson was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. You just can't make it up, guys. The downfall of Deshaun needs to be studied. Moving on from that, though, let's just talk about my Cowboys right here. The defense played great. I like what I've seen for defense. Zimmer put Deshaun Watson in a situation where we thought was going to happen. Make Deshaun Watson sit in the pocket, get to him early, sack him, and just make Deshaun Watson get the ball out fast, sit on all the routes that Deshaun Watson throws, and eventually the defense wreak havoc all day. Eric Kendrick, linebacker play. Oh my gosh, it was like night and day compared to last year. It was beautiful to see some good linebacker play. Shout out to Eric Kendricks. He was player of the game for me easily. Had 2 sacks and interception. Played all out great. Demarion Overshaw saw his potential, what we could potentially have of him last year at linebacker. Linebackers as a whole, Damone Clark, Maurice Lufu. Shout out to all you guys. DBs, Trayvon, welcome back. Getting him a pick. Kalen Carson, seatbelt. Strapping him up over there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Kalen Carson. I think I only saw Kalen Carson get beat by that one out route by Jerry Jeudy. Okay, whatever. Kalen Carson done a pretty good job, and D-line wreaked havoc per usual. One thing that I was so happy to see, we stopped the run against a run-heavy Cleveland Browns team. Now, would that have been different with Nick Chubb back there? Obviously. But most of the runs were to the interior. That's where the Cleveland Browns' strong suit is. We stopped the interior rush. Now, going forward, I want to see this. We play the Saints next week. I want to see that. Alvin Kamara and them coming off a great game. Against Carolina, we'll get to them in another video. But I want to see that next week. Get a good run D. Now, moving on offensively. Let's be honest. Pretty pedestrian. Look, I understand. Take what you can get. But the offense did not blow me away. It didn't blow me away, but it didn't make me disappointed. Honestly, Dak Prescott did what he needed to do. 19 for 32, 179 yards. 9 yards a pass. A touchdown. Didn't turn the ball over. Got sacked 3 times. Good job for Mike McCarthy. I can't say that. Neutralizing Myles Garrett and not letting him wreck the game. It's just being smart, like Tom Brady said. Being smart, having a nice game plan. Obviously, running the ball was decent. It wasn't the best, but it weren't terrible. Zeke came back and put his stamp on things. He had 10 rushes for 40 yards. He averaged 4 yards a carry. We can take that to the bank. Had a touchdown. We could take that to the bank. Honestly, Rico Dowdle, he was 8 for 26, 3.3 yards a carry. CeeDee Lamb had 3 rushes for 25 yards. Obviously, most of those coming from end rounds. So I like the game plan. CeeDee Lamb wide receivers really didn't do nothing. Dak really struggled hitting a lot of accurate passes. CeeDee Lamb did have a couple drops. CeeDee Lamb was targeted 5 times and only had 5 catches. He was 5 for 61. Obviously, Brandon Cooks did catch that touchdown. I did not get to see it. I forgot to preface this at the beginning. I missed almost the whole first quarter. So it was 7-3 when I did end up watching the game. So I didn't see the drive where Dak Prescott drove him down the field to get that Brandon Cooks pass. But good throw by Dak. Jake Ferguson did get injured in this game. Thankfully, it wasn't an ACL. It looked like ACL at first. We know what happens when that knee pivots anywhere like that. He's only going to have a sprained MCL. He'll be week to week, but there's a good chance he's going to play next week. Now, moving forward, the defense keep that same intensity. Offensively, I want us to be able to be more productive in the run game. We got behind the sticks way too much. We need to get in front of the sticks. Get to where we can get 3 yards per run. Get 3 yards per run. That way, get short yard situation. Spread the offense out a little bit better. That you can just tell Dak look a little rusty, missing a lot of throws. CD, you can tell he's not played a bunch of football in pads. He missed a couple throws. He dropped a couple balls here and there. Overall, it was a great game. Nothing to harp about. Nothing to say we're going to the Super Bowl. Nothing to say we're going to win 2 playoff games in a row. Just keep stacking up these wins as we can get. Obviously, shout out to Cavante Turpin getting that punt return for a touchdown. But other than that, I think it was a solid game. Nothing to go home and harp about. We're going to win a Super Bowl, neither here nor there. But it was a great game. Again, we have to be able to run the football better. We just got to be able to run the football better. We'll be in great shape. And I think we are going to be eligible enough and good enough to make a run in the NFC East and get that #1 seed and run it back again in the playoffs this year to see if Dakota Rain will finally do something for us. And going out to Deshaun. Deshaun, if you're watching this video, which I know you're not going to, obviously. I'm a small YouTuber. Deshaun, if you listen to me, bud, we got to play some football. Honestly, I was a Cowboys fan, and I was rooting for you yesterday. I want you to get back to playing good football. I want you to play good football. I want you to be a starter in the league for another 5+ years. Hey, maybe even 10. You're too good. You were too talented and too big of a gift to be playing like this and falling off the face of the earth like this. You were too good at Clemson. You were too good with the Texans. Made some Pro Bowls. Took Pat Mahomes to the second round of the playoffs and giving him a run for his money. There's no reason for you to look like this. Not with these weapons. Not with Jerry Jeudy. Not with Amari Cooper. Not with David Njoku. Not with David Njoku. Not with Elijah Moore. Not with Nick Chubb coming back from injury. Not with that offensive line. We got to produce, bud, or you're going to be finding yourself at the house real fast. If you enjoyed my quick reaction to this video, as always, drop a like on the video. What do you think of the Cowboys' first game? Comment down below. Do you think the Cowboys are good enough to win the NFC East? Also, do you think Deshaun Watson will pivot his game and make a big comeback this year and actually play on not even on an elite level, just a decent enough level to be a game manager and let his team win games? Let me know down below in the comments. As always, hit this link up here on the top of my video. And as always, subscribe to you, boy. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See you.